Hey man, you ready to do that review?
Yeah, just a minute.
What are you doing?
I'm waiting on the timer. What does it look like I'm doing? So, here's what's happening here, alright? Follow me, this will get tricky. This one right here is unbox. This one right here is to read the instruction manual. This one right here, I can't figure out what this one does just yet until this one gets down all the way through so I can read the instruction manual. So...
This one's finished.
Okay, that one's finished, so I can finish unboxing this stuff.
What are you talking about? Why do you have to wait on these things to do something?
Because this is all about time management, and I'm trying to manage my time through the timers.
But you've never been good at this.
I've always been good at time management. Oh, this one's finally gone. Okay. I can't do anything because I don't know what that does yet. So I just have to flip it over again.
This is confusing me.
Well, once this one gets done all the way through here, I'll have to stop. Now, once I stop, so I'll flip it over, then I'll have to wait 45 seconds for it to go again. Once it gets all the way done, then I'll flip it over again, then I can start undoing it. Now, you see, you're wasting my time, though. For me talking to you, telling you about each one of these timers, I'm wasting time and not being able to unbox this. Once this one's out, then I can read the manual and find out what that one does. Oh, this I can't do anymore.
Are you off your meds?
What meds?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dice Odyssey. I'm Kaz.
And I'm Brian.
And we are looking at a game today called
Pendulum by Travis Jones.
Time Conquers All. This is a Stonemaier Games production. What would you call it? Time management.
Time management is the biggest part of it.
Worker placement, engine building, and you are basically trying to, you're one of these nobles that are trying to vie for this, I can't remember if the king went missing, but it was like the timeless king. He went missing, or he might have died, I can't remember. But they're trying to basically vie for his throne to become, somebody's going to become the new timeless king. Quite frankly, the story kind of takes a back seat. It's not really heavily invested into the game. That's not why you come to play this. But this is a very interesting, intriguing style of game. It's got real-time action in it, especially with the sand timers, but I am not a fan of real-time games normally. I'm really not. There's a few that I like. I'm
not a fan of sand timers until now.
Okay, so he's telegraphing, but I've really never liked them. For example, Skate, Curse of the Temple, things like that. I didn't really care for those games. I was intrigued to try this one out. I like the idea of what I was hearing. I was hoping it was going to be good. Let's take a quick look at it, and we will come back and talk about our final thoughts on it. So basically, you're going to start with your player board, and the way that the points are done, it's not really points, so to speak. And it's almost like a race.
That's what it is. It's a race to the finish, see who can get the most, honor, the quickest. You're racing against the little sand timers here. You're racing against everybody else in the group that you're playing with to see who can beat everyone else to the end of the honor track.
Yeah, and there's different ones. And for example, another thing that's really interesting is that each side is going to have different abilities and things about it. So for example, if you have this one side of Gambol, this one's called the Briber, right, this character. This one is not for advanced players. This is a bit more of a basic side, okay? But the nice thing is they have an advanced side that if you've, kind of mastered these other sides, that you have another way of playing. Another thing is what you're trying to do, like he said, is you're trying to move these different things on the honor tracks, some of its culture, some of its power, and what you're trying to do is get all these onto this parchment. And basically it is a race to do that. By the end of the game, whoever's got the most, and there's also obviously tiebreakers, is going to be considered the winner. You have to get all 4 of these tracks onto the parchment to actually show that somebody's going to be able to make a win on that. If you don't get them all, you're not going to be in the running.
I mean, it's really just an engine building because you're building your bottom section down here, which is your income, depending on what you're going for. Go on the basic side here. So I mean, you have income here, which is you get 2 coins every time you get on that one. But if you build this up, you're going to get other things. Probably the best thing about it is you can add almost as much as you want down here until you get to the council. Once you get to the council, you have to discard everything down to 2. Yeah. And there is one special card, or 2 special cards in there that allow you to have 3 on each one.
Oh, it's awesome too.
But you'll find that out when you get the game.
Right.
But it works out building your engine that way so you can get there quicker.
Right. Now, there are different kinds of goals that you can go for as the different characters that allows you to get on these different kinds of, I guess these are called the privilege cards. I forget.
Those are the privilege cards.
The privilege cards. Well, basically, they're in the middle of the table, and you're all trying to, I consider these just goal cards, and you're all trying to get these, and you have to meet certain requirements, like certain amount of votes. Do you have that? Do you have a certain amount of culture? Do you have a certain amount of power? Things of that nature. If you get on there first, you get the first pick of a choice of what you want to get. Do you want to get the rewards at the bottom of the card, or do you want to get the little medal honor thing that allows you to move that one spot on your parchment that's very hard to get, right? If you can do that, that's going to get you one more step to winning. And by the end of the round, you know, everybody has a chance to get on that card and be able to get some rewards, which is really nice. It's not just one person gets it and that's it. Now, if somebody does take this, to move this, at least for that round, no one else can get it. It comes back the next round. Everything resets, new gold cards come out, all of that. And by the way, there's primarily 4 rounds in the game. You're going to have 4 council rounds, and that's going to deal with the sand timers. Let's go into that first, actually.
With each one of these, you're going to be flipping these when they run out, and they're going to allow you to do certain actions on the board. The 45-second timer, you're going to be, you know...
It's more basic actions.
Popping those back and forth. 2-minute timer, you're going to get a lot more of your honor and such with these.
A little more advanced.
This is going to be your more advanced. This is also going to be the one that's going to trigger the council.
And a lot more culture. Because you're trying to gain resources of those type, military, culture, you know, gold and things of that nature. Other aspects of the game is getting the provinces. Now, this is where your engine building comes in. You've got these here that allow you to go ahead and build up, you know, for example, when you take the actions, you're activating certain aspects of your player board to gain more resources, possibly, I guess I'd call them points, you know, or at least points to move up on the honor tracks or what have you. And you can gain more gold. Well, if you're able to add these underneath, if you go down there and conquer more provinces with military, because that's what you need to spend to conquer, then you can add those down underneath. And we already told you about the little restriction on 2, but you add those underneath and you get the choice of where you want to add them. You can add it to where you can have more culture. So for example, if you activate your culture spot, well, if you put a coin under there, you not only get culture, but you'd also get a coin. So it's like a stacking effect of how much power or what kind of resources you get. And it can lead to some seriously strong victories. You're getting your own hand of cards according to the character and the side that they choose. And these special cards may allow you to upgrade your workers from a standard worker to a grande worker, or to remove your worker from a place where they're normally stuck if time's not running, to gain more resources, more, you know, honor and things of that nature. Once a certain aspect of the game triggers, you go to the council phase, and whoever has the most privilege allows you to get first dibs on cards, and you go in that stacking order, and you're able to add more to your deck, which can give you more powers later on. You can go ahead and continue to activate those to help you win, you know. Now, I will say that one real interesting aspect of the sand timers is because each area you've got at least 2 rows, and you got the brackets above where you can place your workers. Now, in the black area, you can kind of combine up and put as many workers as you want in there, or at least everybody can kind of join you, I should say. And all the other spots, the green and the purple areas, the more advanced worker areas, they don't allow people to jump on each other's brackets unless you're a grande worker. Grandes work kind of, if you've ever played viticulture, allows you to jump onto somebody else's space and jump in. The interesting thing is, if you have a sand timer on a specific row, you cannot then place a worker there. You have to wait for the sand timer to flip to the next row. It never flips in place. And then you open up those brackets and those worker spots to place your actual workers out there, whether they're the baby workers or the grandes. But here's the really weird rub about all of it. You have to wait until that sand timer runs out, whether it's a 45-second, 2-minute, or 3-minute, to flip it back over there to actually take the action. So you can actually, it's possible you could hold yourself up in a way by putting your worker there. You might just be sitting there for a little while, not being able to move that worker unless you have a special card to remove it until that sound timer comes back, right? And so it really is an interesting strategic, push and pull, tug of war on that. Like, what do I do? Should I go there? Should I waste that time? You feel like you might be wasting time. I thought that there was going to be more problems with people going, wait a minute, I was there at the same time as you. I should go first. It doesn't matter. I thought there'd be fights about who goes first. But that's where that privilege track comes in. And I'll go ahead and say that is a very good thing that they put in there because...
even when we played, I don't think we focused too much really on that, except unless there was something somebody really wanted over.
Yeah, there was really rarely... like, for example, if somebody has a card over in the provinces and it would give you an amazing ability for engine building... You're sitting there going, okay, I want that card. I would sit there in some games and go, I want that card, I want that card, I hope,
I went first.
Yeah, and the thing is, if he had the privilege, meaning he had a higher privilege than I did.
He had to wait for me to go first.
I had to wait for him to go first. So there is that back and forth a little, but not bad.
So you could hold him up. I could have held him up a little bit by saying, well, I'm going to get to that in a minute, and he would have had to wait.
Right.
To that point, though,
yeah.
Since we're talking about the privilege a little bit more, to get more privilege, you have to get votes.
Right.
The more votes you have, that's how you get on top of that track.
Yes, and if you don't focus on votes, I didn't do that much first game. Oh, it hurt me so bad. I would get like last dibs on cards. I wouldn't get as much stuff. I just didn't do as well. The second game in, I was a lot better off. You know what I mean? I made myself a vote generating machine. Yes, it was great. It feels like a natural progression from going from the black area to the green, to the purple. And yeah, you'll go into all areas at some point, interchangeably, but at some point you're going to have to make the jump from one area to another because certain areas have things that you want that other areas don't necessarily have a lot of or any at all, and so I really like that the feeling of that I'm getting stronger, that I'm able to now graduate from this area to go to this area and now go to this area. And the purple area, once you have flipped that sand timer several times to knock off all those little hourglasses, that's when it triggers that council phase. And so, yeah, that was the other weird thing. Everybody kind of has to agree a little bit about when
to flip the timer. Stonemaier Games website stated in there that you agree when the timer's flipped.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not necessarily a set, I guess it's a set rule, but it's not in the rule book, but it's kind of one of those, like, free parking, I guess, type things. Everybody, it's just kind of one of those rules stuck out there.
Yeah. Positives and negatives. Let's hit our positives first. So, how about you? What did you think?
Positives, I think this game flows great. I really don't find a lot of flaws in it. I love the artwork going on here on the individual cards, and I'm starting to have a feeling for sand timers, where I never had one except for hate. So I think I'm starting to like sand timers in this aspect. I'm enjoying the game.
Yeah.
I don't feel too pressured. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of anxiety while playing the game. I don't have. Sometimes I'll get a little AP on this, but I don't feel like there's a lot of it. I think I'm making quick actions, quick decisions on some things, and on some other things, I'm making little slower decisions.
Yeah.
And it's working out. It's not hindering me.
Okay. I would say on my positives, I'm echoing a lot of what he says, but I think the biggest thing for me is that I kind of get the same feeling like I had for Sorcerer City. I kind of went into it going, oh my gosh, this is a real-time game and I'm going to hate it, but it actually worked out to where it was surprising me. Yeah, This is doing the same thing. I really thought this was going to be a massive race and that everybody's going to be in each other's face and oh my gosh, it's the person who can think the fastest. And there might be a tiny bit of that in there, maybe to some extent, in terms of the person who can think the fastest on their feet and all that. Because I mean, we know Riley, he's sitting there just calculating things out.
He's already got the move done.
But if somebody takes a card he wants, it might throw him off a little. Yep. And there's advanced rules and things like that. But the thing that really got me was that I wasn't feeling just crushed by literally the time. I didn't feel like I had to jump on something immediately or I was going to lose the game. The component quality is I mean, let's just be honest. Even if you hate anything Stonemaier Games does, you cannot argue. I will not hear your argument that the component quality is awful, because it's great. Every game I've played of theirs has been amazing component quality overall.
Definitely.
At least with what I've played. So anyway, now when it comes to other positives, I really like I said, I like the progression feeling. I feel like it's a logical feeling progression. You go from one area, build up enough to go to the next area, to the next area. And yeah, there are some obvious ways to win. You know, there's some obvious paths to victory. But at the same time, they have the advanced rules, they have the advanced sides to help you not make those so obvious and make it even to challenge yourself more. Because you could, I mean, Riley was already like just a few games in doing that. He's like, man, I'm already rocking this game out.
As soon as he heard there was an advanced section, he's like, ooh, I'm doing that next
Right, because he wanted to challenge himself more, and it really did make it more fun for him to some extent. So I think there's something here for everyone. That's the weird part, you know. Like this really balances out.
And it was. I will say this: another positive. It was very easy to get into the game. It wasn't
Yes.
a lot of. There were some kind of rules like I'm not real sure about that, but other than that, it wasn't one of those games where you sit there forever trying to figure out all the rules.
Right.
You got into the game and. Once you started it, it started going. The rules just made sense. And
Yeah. This isn't like, for example, like for me, like the last Stonemaier game that came out, we reviewed Tapestry. I think we both came away from that feeling underwhelmed, and you a lot more so than me.
Yes.
There were some aspects to it that just weren't gelling right. I felt like some of the balance issues that were in there. We talked about all this. You can go watch that review. Not an awful game, but just not what we were hoping for. This one has kind of, I guess, blown our socks off with how good it ended
Sand
up being.
timers? What do you mean sand timers?
Yeah.
Oh, this is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, it really was. And so I will say there are some negatives in the game, and maybe not huge ones. You know, they're more like some of them.
Pet peeves.
Number one, sand timers. Sand timers,
They knock over too.
very easy to knock over. Too easy at times. Like you shake this, and there you go.
Oh.
They're knocking over.
Sorry, guy.
Exactly. And so yeah, that is an issue. You shake the table a little bit, you accidentally hit the table.
Or-
That sand timer's going to knock over.
Or you're reaching across to grab one of your guys and you're on the side with the timer and you knock it over accidentally.
And occasionally people
That
will reach
happened.
at the same time, you know, and things like that. But yeah, the component quality on the sand timers is great. It's just that we wish that the bases could have been magnetic or something with a magnet in the board to hold them in space.
Metal plates on the board and little magnets.
Kind of like Coloma.
Yeah.
Coloma had that magnet in the
Yeah.
middle of the board, and you could just switch things
So
around.
it'd stick there and it wouldn't fall over
Right.
as easily. It'd make it a little easier to flip, go from one spot to the other because you know exactly.
It is.
See, go try to put it down.
Yeah, exactly. It is a minor issue, but it is there, and it will
That-
annoy you at times. But
Or if the base was a little wider.
the other issue that is possible, and this is just the problem with a sand timer, we had, I think it was the green one.
Yeah.
Once in a
it'd
while,
stick.
it would stick. It wouldn't flow through the actual.
Time stood still.
The time stood still. Now, the other negative might be a little bit of AP on your part, especially if you do not like real-time action games. I know for a fact one of our friends at the table, he was new to the game. He wants to play it some more, but he wasn't as sold on it because he was still thinking,
the
you know, when the sand timers kept flipping, and so he got a little lost in the shuffle at times.
Well, the biggest problem with that is we've played, all three of us played it so much, and we knew exactly what to do, when we're going to do this and that, and he's coming into the game, you know, every new person to a game they've never played, and they're coming into experienced players, they're always way behind and, you know, clueless as what's going on.
That's true.
A lot of times. And, you know, with this game, you can feel that a little bit more because it goes so fast.
But I will say that he also picks up games like this very
He does.
quickly. And this one was a tiny bit overwhelming for him. So anyway, long story short, the game itself I have found to be highly intriguing.
Highly addictive.
I was, and the other thing and I'll say this is another positive. We were playing it. We'd end the game. We go like, wow, that was quick.
Yeah, I mean,
That
it
was
goes
quick. You don't even think about it. You're having so much fun. Literally, the time flies by.
I mean, you
Doing
could
that.
have like two, 3 games in a night and
You
not
really
even
could.
realize how how long you've been going.
Yeah, you could go like 2.5, 3 hours, and you've played, maybe 3 times. It's really that quick. It's not that. And we played 3 to 4 players, and we liked it at those player counts. I didn't get to play it at 2. And we did not try it at Atoma. I don't know that I want to try it at 2, to be honest.
Honestly, I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say I really don't think I'm gonna play it at 2. I like the higher, at least the 4-player count. I like that.
Oh yeah, it is a interestingly unique game. Definitely one of my favorites I've played this year so far.
Say out of all Stonemaier games, there's only 2 that have really hit me when they first came out, and that was Pendulum and Wingspan. Those are the 2 games that when they first came out, I was pretty much
on board.
to them. The other ones kind of had to grow on me.
Yeah. Okay, so final rating. I am currently with I guess the surprise factor and how much I enjoyed it and how much I didn't think I was going to enjoy it that much because of the real-time aspect, and that being a key element to this game, and it was actually fun for me, and I didn't hate it. I'm sitting at about an 8.5 out of 10 right now. Right now, I just, this is a game I want to keep pulling out. We were really jazzed to pull it out, especially after the first night, over and over and over. So that's where I'm sitting. I think this is going to be a major hit. I just think it is. Like, you know how, like, you, again, going back to Tapestry, the hype was so huge for that. I went into it and it was deflated. Yep. This is the exact opposite to that, Exactly. How about you, brother?
I'm sitting at 8.5. I mean...
Oh, wow. So matched up?
Yeah, pretty much matched up. It was between 8 and 8.5, but just the enjoyment having out of this being with sand timers.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd enjoy a game with sand timers like this. The surprise factor of that just really boosted up, and just not being overwhelmed by the entire game like I thought it was going to be really boost the score up on this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to catch you off guard. If you have not tried this, it might very well catch you off guard.
Definitely.
So anyway, that's going to be all for us. Let me know if you have gotten to try this out in the comments, or if you're looking forward to it. Again, I think this should be on everybody's radar this year. I really do. This is going to be a surprise hit, I think, with a lot of people.
I really do think it's going to be one.
I've been hearing a lot of people that have I guess play tested it, who found themselves fascinated by this, and that's kind of where we are. I would play this again if we had a lot more.
It's going to be one of those games. As soon as you read the back, and as soon as you figure out it's got sand timers, you're going to be looking at it like, I think I'm really going to pass, but don't.
Yeah.
Buy it, play it, love it.
I think you should give this one some time. Anyway, that's going to be all for us.
Speaking about that, we're almost out.
Thank you so much again for watching Dice Odyssey. I'm Kaz.
I'm Brian.
You have a blessed day.
And game away.
This video is brought to you by Fallen Dominion Studios. Check out their website at fallendominionstudios.com.